What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Big O back in the building with yet another brand new video. Just want to take a second to say thank you to everyone who's tuning in, and I hope all of you are having a glorious day. Today's topic of discussion is substrate. And as you can see in my strike neck musk enclosure, and next door in my Escambia map enclosure, I like to use sand as a substrate. In my opinion, it really is the best substrate you can use for any species. Some actually even require it. Soft shells immediately come to mind. It's definitely a necessity in soft shell husbandry. But again, I find it to be the best substrate for any turtle species, if you do choose to have any substrate at all. I like the way it looks. It definitely provides a naturalistic sort of look to your aquarium or enclosure, and it's very inexpensive. I got this play sand from Home Depot, and a 50-pound bag was less than $6. And you know, you really there's no comparison. If you go to your local pet shops or even online or anything like that, the sand that is specifically marketed for fish or even for turtles is way too expensive. A 20-pound bag is going to run you upwards of $20, and you just can't compare that for 50 pounds for less than $6. I mean, you just can't. There are things that I don't like about it, though. One is how labor intensive it is to clean. I bought 2 bags, which was 100 pounds, and it took forever to clean. And I recommend you doing this in an outdoors setting, like your backyard or something like that, because I've seen people try to clean play sand in their bathtubs, and I can tell you from first-hand experience, that is a very bad idea. When you get too much sand in your drain, your bathtub drain or pipes, whatever it is, it can cause some pretty nightmarish situations. Again, I know this from experience. The other thing I don't like about the sand is if I move closer to the filter, there's the motor of the AquaClear, little black part right there. That horrible sound that you just heard is because sand, as fine as it is, will get sucked up into your aquarium. I mean, your aquarium filter, that is. And when it does, it kind of grinds up the impeller, and it causes it to make the horrible noise that you just heard. The only thing about that doesn't really bother me very much is that the impellers are pretty inexpensive, and they should probably be switched out anyway from time to time. I mean, you know, if you want your machine to, any machine really, to work properly, there obviously has to be some sort of maintenance done to it. And I just look at switching out the impeller as part of the maintenance of the filter itself already. So it doesn't bother me that I have to do it because the filter sucked up some sand. It's just not a big deal. Another option for substrate would be the we refer to, or what is referred to as Riverstone, you know, pond stone, river rock, whatever you want to call it. And this stuff can be pretty good. Again, it provides a sort of naturalistic look in your aquarium. And again, it's very inexpensive. I got this stuff at Home Depot, and I believe a 50-pound bag as well, and it was very cheap. This may have been about $5. I don't use it anymore. I switched over to sand, but I would say it comes in. I would say that it ties for second place as the best substrate for a turtle tank or a turtle enclosure, wherever sort of enclosure you keep your animals in.
My only issue with the Riverstone is that since the rocks are so regularly shaped and they're just kind of piled on top of each other, really, all the waste and the uneaten food and just all the debris is going to make its way into the cracks and crevices and nooks that the rock creates just by being there. And you're going to have to do a little more work to make sure your tank gets cleaned properly, that is. But with strong filtration and regular water changes, that really shouldn't be that much of a problem. But, you know, that being said, Riverstone can make a good option. Another good option, if we move back up here, as you can tell, I have a couple of slate tiles sitting in the basking area. These are more of a square shape. I'd say they're about 4 or 5 inches squared. If you were to find the right size tile, you can kind of like easily lay them across the bottom of your enclosure, and that would create a very nice looking yet very simple sort of substrate, because there are very many colors and patterns that these tiles can have, you know, and they're natural products, so you don't have to worry about, you know, it messing with the water quality or it being, you know, dangerous in any way to the animals. And again, there's quite a variety of color and patterns that you can choose from, and it's also very inexpensive. You know, I get these at Home Depot also. You can buy them single, you can get a whole box. If we move to my enclosure over here in the corner, my giant Mexican musk, I have another example of a tile that can possibly or potentially be used as a substrate. This one's a bit bigger, it's about a square foot. Or imagine if you were to find, you know, a tile that you can sort of fit perfectly laid out across the bottom of the tank. That'd be very, very nice. The only problem with the tile is that it's going to have the same issue as the Riverstone. All the waste and debris and all that will definitely end up making its way under the tile. But, you know, with regular water changes and strong filtration, that shouldn't really be a problem either. I think if you want to try to avoid that, what you can do is, suppose the entire bottom of this enclosure is covered with tile to the point where you couldn't even see the glass at all, and the tiles were very close together. What you can do is you can lay the tiles out and silicone all over the edge, all around the edge rather, of the entire tank, right? And where the two pieces do meet, that space, you silicone over that as well. And once that's cured, it will prevent any debris from reaching under the tile, and it'll make cleanup that much more easier. You just have to make sure that you're using aquarium safe silicone, which again, you can pick up for very cheap at your local big name hardware stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, that kind of thing. But the tile is definitely another good option. There are some bad options out there as well. I'm sure we're all familiar with your typical aquarium gravel that we see in most pet stores and most fish tanks and things like that, and which a lot of turtle keepers still seem to use it, and I'm not really understanding why. It is the worst choice you can use, the worst choice you can make for a substrate for a turtle. It's almost a guarantee that they're going to try to eat a piece, and if they do end up eating some of the gravel, the chances for, you know, intestinal impaction are just way too much. It's too much of a risk. If your turtle gets impacted, there's a potential for death. Definitely going to require some sort of medical attention. And
it's just not good. I once had a common snapper that I kept for a few years, a long time ago. About 2 weeks after I picked him up, he was still pooping brightly colored pieces of gravel. Luckily, he was big enough so that they were able to pass. But you gotta ask yourself, what if they didn't? And me not knowing that he was kept with gravel before I got, before he was under my care, I may have, come downstairs and just, found a dead turtle and not have any clue why it ever even happened. So you definitely want to stay away from the gravel. So to recap, in my personal, most humble opinion, sand substrate is the ideal substrate for any turtle species. River rock and slate tile tie for a close second, and your typical aquarium gravel is not even in the conversation, so you can forget about it. Any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down in the comment section. If there's any ideas for substrate that I didn't cover in this video that any one of you have used with success, please let me know. And until the next time, happy reptile keeping. Peace.